وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من سلالة من طين ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين ثم إنكم بعد ذلك لميتون ثم إنكم يوم القيامة تبعثون صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Surah Mu'minun, the first 10 ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised Firdaus, the highest place in heaven, for the people who are believers and have certain qualities of believers. The most important of those is Salah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that these people will inherit Firdaus, which means that for sure they will get Firdaus in the hereafter. The next few ayat talk about some signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about our creation, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us out of nothing. And that Allah who has created us out of nothing is guaranteeing Firdaus for the people who are believers and do these good deeds, have these good qualities. So people should be very sure that this is true. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِّن طِينٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, without doubt, verily we have created man from an extract of clay. So all human beings, they come from their parents, and their parents, they gain energy from the food that they eat, and all food ultimately comes from clay. ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُطْفَةً فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ. Then we made him a drop in a firm resting place. And this ayah starts with thumma. The next ayah also starts with thumma. So the stages of creation of a human being, some Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used thumma for them, and some Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said fa. Thumma is relatively a longer duration, and fa is immediately after or right after. So if you notice the beauty of the ayat of the Quran here, the stages that take longer, that science today tells us that these are the stages during which a fetus or whatever is contained in the womb develops and takes a certain longer duration to develop. For those stages here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used thumma, and those that happen right after the other, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used fa. So ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُطْفَةً فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ. The drop, the liquid stays in a firm resting place for a certain duration. ثُمَّ خَلَقْنَا النُّطْفَةَ. Then it becomes a clot. ثُمَّ خَلَقْنَا النُّطْفَةَ عَلَقَةً. So the nutfah, the drop, becomes a clot. فَخَلَقْنَا الْعَلَقَةَ مُضْغَةً. Then the clot turns into a lump, a piece of flesh. فَخَلَقْنَا الْعَلَقَةَ مُضْغَةً. And then this turns into, the fetus lump turns into bones. فَخَلَقْنَا الْمُضْغَةَ عِظَامًا. So part of the flesh also forms bones. فَخَلَقْنَا الْمُضْغَةَ عِظَامًا. And then the bones are clothed into flesh. So these steps happen right after another. فَكَسَوْنَا الْعِظَامَ لَحْمًا. And the bones, they are clothed with flesh, and then فَكَسَوْنَا الْعِظَامَ لَحْمًا. The bones are the bone is covered by flesh. ثُمَّ أَنشَأْنَاهُ خَلْقًا آخَرَ. Then thereafter, with certain duration passes, we develop it into a totally different creation. So this refers to the blowing of the spirit, that something that was lifeless, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns it into something totally entirely different, that lifeless body, lifeless flesh, lifeless bones, all of that now becomes khalqan akhar. It becomes a different creation, another creature which is living and moving and has a spirit. So the spirit the spirits of all people were created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala many thousands of years ago, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gathered all the spirits in that universe of arwah, the alam of arwah, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gathered all the spirits and asked them, Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? And all of the souls were there, and they being present responded, Bala. Now this stage is where the flesh and the spirit gets connected. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we mentioned clearly, and this detail was mentioned in Surah Hajj, the previous one as well, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down an angel, and that angel, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, connects the body with the ruh. فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. So glorious is Allah, the best of the creators. As sure as you are about your creation, and as clearly as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you your stages of creation, so should you be sure that the people who have belief, who are mu'mineen and have good qualities in their life, they will be granted firdaus. ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ لَمَيِّتُونَ. Another thing is that you should be also very sure that as sure as you are about these stages of creation, and you develop from a drop into a strong human being, ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ, there is going to pass a significant duration, بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ لَمَيِّتُونَ. All of you without exception for sure are going to, after this, become dead. You are to die. ثُمَّ, and with all that continuation of surety, ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ تُبْعَثُونَ. Without doubt, just like all of this happens and you see it, without doubt you will see that all of you will, on the day of judgment, you will be raised again. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us those who prepare for the day of judgment before it comes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the wise and the smart people, in the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those who prepare for what is coming after death before they die. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.